gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Tuesday night, as we are finally back after a week hiatus away, as a little bit of complications popped up with the most recent iRacing update last week that forced us not to go live at Homestead. Instead, we're going to change things up. Last race of the regular season is tonight, and it's going to be at Talladega, as the drivers of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series are ready to conclude an incredible 13-race season here at the Rooster Market 250 at Talladega. The drivers are set. They're prepared. The field's a little bit bigger than it's been the last couple of races, which means we're going to be having a lot more drivers hoping to get into victory lane. On top of that, major points are about to be divvied out to see who's in and who's out for tonight's race. Joining me here tonight, going to be a fun one. Zach Hall subbing in for Trevor Earhart, who was not able to join into the booth here this evening. And as well, myself, Sam Dyer, going to give you the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Zach, thanks for subbing in for tonight for Trevor. But man, what a race for you to show up for Talladega Super Speedway Racing for the final race of the regular season.
There you go, Sam. That's what you said. Final race of the regular season. That's exciting to hear, man, especially for Talladega, like you said. So this is going to be wild. I mean, lots of different chances for points out there for these guys to gain. And it seems like with the way the points have set up here with at least one driver dropping out of the standings, it's kind of opened up the door for others to come into. And I think it's made tonight a little bit more interesting, especially when it comes to being Talladega.
It certainly has. And that one driver, points-wise, was going to be Ronnie Norman, who was going to be the heavy hitter to try to challenge Gavin Rogers in a championship push. Ronnie has decided to jump out of running in the playoffs after last week's race. Last race that we had at Rockingham, which now is going to be bumping up the line of who's going to be in or out of the playoffs. Only 10 drivers make it. There's no winner you're in system. The points are going to be critical here tonight, as Gavin Rogers has already locked up the regular season championship. Congratulations to the 77 team. Coming into this evening, we have 4 drivers, but only 2 spots left on who's going to be in or out. We'll touch on that a little bit more, but we got to go down to trackside because points are on the line. Qualifying is underway, and big drivers to watch out for: Patrick Hernandez, Brandon Maddox, as well as Matthew Erickson and Jeremy Clapper Newell, going to be your 4 drivers to watch out for. Those are the 4 that need some massive bonus points, and here's already one that you can grab. Get the pole, you get 1 bonus point. Zach, in Talladega, there is some strategy, but it's also good luck and hope for the best when you get out there on track.
That it really is. I mean, it's a little bit of luck, it's a little bit of skill, it's everything involved when it comes to qualifying at these plate style tracks. It's about keeping that wheel as nice and smooth as possible, not trying to scrub the speed. But sometimes unforeseen things can cause your qualifying laps to go bad, and that is really when the wind starts to change. But what I'm looking at here tonight, looks like our weather is is static. So only going to keep a 2-mile-an-hour north wind here. That is going to make it where, in my opinion, everybody's in an equal playing field, where if it was dynamic weather, you kind of get lucky with the wind sometimes. Tonight, so I'm going to come down to who holds that wheel the steadiest.
Holds the wheel the steadiest, who doesn't lose the momentum off the corner, keeping it close to that yellow line. All the factors define the true speed. As well as here tonight, going to be having some newcomers that haven't been around for their debut race for the final race of the regular season. 38 of Jamie Plord going to be out there on track, and Thomas Troy going to be having their first starts of the season, as Carl Pooler going to be having lap 1 being set. As some drivers feel like lap 1 is going to be the key lap, others feel like lap 2 is going to be the fast lap, but currently it's Adam Buzzio who's doing a lot of practice. I was watching during the practice session, trying to get that qualifying time in, but top of the board after the first laps are done, Patrick Hernandez, who's that bubble driver, 9th in points coming into tonight, top of the board currently.
That could be huge. Like you said, that's a bonus point if you can sit on pole, but it's Steven Borbell who's going to take away that top position from Patrick Hernandez as he just held on to it. So we'll see if the second lap around is quicker for anybody. But like we said, I think the first lap has been in this next-gen car previously the fastest way to go. But we'll see Carl Pooler here. He's going to be one of the first to come back around for that second lap. We'll see if there is any pickup in this 71 machine here.
Start-finish line is after the tri-oval is concluded. The 71 got to cross the line, and it doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement for the 71 of Carl Pooler. Other drivers are hoping to beat out the 2 machine of Steven Borbell. Borbell's not going to be going for second lap. Going to be sticking with that first lap, a 52.936. And Borbell coming in tonight, second in points. Again, is out of reach for going for a regular season championship, but just wanting to make sure he's got enough points to stay ahead of Adam Buzzio, who comes in tonight third in points. So there's small little battles. You want to make sure that you have that extra buffer going into the playoffs after this race here tonight. But second place on the board wasn't fast enough. Going to be 100 slower than our pole sitter right now. That's Patrick Hernandez, who put out his best effort, but it wasn't fast enough. Here's another driver to watch out for. Going to be David Hall. Going to be seeing what the 21 has this evening as they're on their first lap here tonight. Going to be running high. So looks like setting up for that second lap as this 21 machine.
Very interesting to see. We'll see what this produces for him because everybody else, pretty much elected to run low, but he drops it low here in the middle of 3 and 4 now. So a little bit of something different. Warm up lap for the 21. We'll see if it produces any type of speed for himself and pushes him up the list. But we know it doesn't matter where you qualify when it comes to these play tracks. It's where you're at when the white flag waves because you got to be there to have a shot at the end. And right now, David Hall coming through on that first lap. I should place him, I believe, is going to place him 18th. Yes, with 53.22. We'll see if there's any pickup there for him as we watch the 10 of Dustin Stallings, who's coming into tonight feeling pretty confident.
Dustin Stallings was in that weird zone of if the 10 didn't show up and if Matthew Erickson or Jeremy Clapper will had a spectacular, perfect race for those two drivers, they could have pushed out this 10 machine from making the playoffs. But because Dustin Stallings has made the race here tonight and expected to be taking the start and at least running one lap this evening, the 10 will be moving on and being that 8th driver to make that line for points into the playoffs. So congratulations to Stalling as qualifying is officially concluded. The field is set and ready to give us some great racing action here tonight. It's going to be a long one, 100 laps here this evening. We do have 2 stages. At the stage 1 at the end of lap 25. Stage 2 will be at the end of lap 50. Then we'll race it to the end to see who's going to win here tonight, as the drivers will have 1 fast spare to work with, 5 sets of tires in pit road. But those stage finishes is where it's going to be the most critical for these drivers. As qualifying is done, 1 bonus point has been taken away, and it's going to be Stephen Borbell taking that pole award as we take a look at our starting grid here this evening. As that pole award winner going to be going to the 2 machine of Stephen Borbell. Patrick Hernandez going to be following to second. Gavin Rogers, your regular season champion for the season 1 of the BRB Butt Kicker Series, going to be starting in 3rd. Jamie Plord, that just joined a few days ago to the BRB Cup Series, going to be starting in 4th. Nicholas Renner hasn't been here for quite a while on track, but the 55 is back out there ready for some racing action in 5th. 6th will be the 5 Adam Buzzio. Mason Hausman going to be in 7th place in the 003 machine, with Matthew Erickson, a driver to watch out for, as well in 9th place is Jeremy Clapper Newell. And finishing out our top 10, it's Evan Patinko in the 96.
Starting in 11th, it's going to be the 56 of Richard Wolsifer. 12th is going to be the 33 of Brendan Maddox. Starting in 13th, it's going to be Carl Pooler. 14th is going to be Matthew Cordair. 15th is going to go to the 98 of Jared Hughes. 16th is going to be Rusty Sanchez. 17th is going to go to Thomas Torre. And 18th is going to be the 21 of David Hall, with Dustin Stallings starting in 19th, rounding our field.
19 drivers expected to run here tonight. We'll see if they all are officially going to be starting out on track. It looks like they all have registered in and are taking off currently. As Stephen Borbell, Patrick Hernandez going to be those front runners, but Zaga, I touched on it. It's the stage points. It's going to be so critical here tonight. Top 10 drivers at the end of those stages get bonus points. Winning, you get 10 bonus points. Second gets 9. Third gets 8. Continues to dwindle down until 10th place only gets 1 bonus point. But we were talking about it before we went live with the broadcast. Stage 1 and Stage 2, I think if you don't get points, or if you do, that could already solidify if you're in or out of the playoffs.
It really could. I mean, those are so many points you can gain. And at a place like Talladega, where we were previously going to be going to Homestead, where, I think a few drivers who are farther back in the standings, it would have been much tougher to gain those major amounts of stage points. Maybe it would have took a little bit of strategy, say, involved in that. For tonight, Talladega, it's wide open. It is going to be anybody's game, everybody's chance here, and points are going to be on the table for you. It's just going to be how much do you want to risk. They do have 1 fast spare. We do have to remember that. So you got that in your back pocket if something does go wrong here in these 100 laps. but you're definitely not going to want to burn that early.
Absolutely not. And for Homestead, that originally was scheduled for this race, he was going to be swapped with Talladega. Talladega was going to be the second race in the playoffs. I mean, the third race in the playoffs. Instead, that is where Homestead will be placed. So this will be our final super speedway of the season. And what a time to be placing it. Last race of the regular season to see who's in or out of the playoffs. Again, I said 8 drivers are in. Congratulations to Gavin Rogers, Steven Borbell, Adam Buzzio, Carl Pooler, Evan Patenko, as well as Jared Hughes, Richard Wolsifer, Dustin Stalling. Going to be those 8 drivers that made it in. But the 4 drivers to watch out for: Patrick Hernandez, Brandon Maddox, are 2 drivers that are inside of our top 10 currently. Just outside, still in reach, is Matthew Erickson and Jeremy Clapper Newell. But who will make the playoffs? Let's find out as the green flag is out for the Roasted Market 250. It's Steven Borbell, Patrick Hernandez going to be the drivers leading their rows, as the inside getting a huge push. It's Gavin Rogers and Borbell. The teammates are marching their way forward.
Teammates with the nice coordinated push there off the start. Not surprised to see that. Hernandez, though, immediately going to jump down to that bottom side in the 91. He's just got to have a solid night here, Sam. Nothing too crazy for Hernandez. You can't go out there and risk, though, finishing outside of these stage points.
Big thing for Patrick Hernandez coming into this race. He's got a 29-point buffer. So as long as he keeps himself 20 points buffer between himself and the drivers behind him, he's in a pretty good spot points-wise to make it to the playoffs and be a hard charger once those playoffs start. But again, the 91 needs to just stay up front. It finishes in the top 4 at the stage. It's going to be a very nice running for these drivers against stage 1 at the end of lap 25. But already single filing out, giving Steven Borbell the chance to lead a lap, bonus point to the 2. And again, Steven Borbell having his own battle between his teammate of Adam Buzzio of who's going to be 2nd or 3rd in the playoffs. So going into the playoffs next week, as the 2 having a huge push by the 77 to Gavin Rogers, and Rogers maybe doing a little bit of testing to see how much bumping action you can do before that engine temp gets a little too high.
That's some great time to test right now. You got to be able to do that. And another thing, we have new noses on the front of these cars. So this might be the first restrictor plate race a lot of these guys have run with the new noses. Maybe trying to fill out those Fords right now is those 2 up front and see how well they can push each other when it comes down to the end of this thing. But I think a lot of people right now, from what I'm seeing, at least from our first 5 who've kind of got a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field, seems like a lot of these guys back here are just trying to ride around and try to get to that lap 25 stage.
Local drivers willing to try the 3rd lane out deeper in the field. And you got to be careful in these next-gen cars because of the fact of side drafting, Zach, a factor that is way more prevalent in these next-gen cars than they are in any other series that we cover.
They really are. It's crazy when you're driving these things. You'll be riding along, and a lot of times you can tell how fast you're going by how much RPM you're turning here at these tracks. I mean, yeah, you can look at the speed, but the RPM and just the sound of the engine can tell you a lot about how fast you're going. But when you have someone pull up beside you and pull up next to your door and put their quarter panel on you, you'll just see those numbers, and even the tone of the engine just completely drop, as it feels like someone just puts an anchor on the back of your car. So it is very, very important. And you're going to see a ton of that here tonight. Is just checking up big here on the bottom.
Checking up big, and he saw it on the mirror bouncing high. It was going to be the 21 of David Hall. He's trying to use that momentum to maybe make a run on the outside, but everyone else on the inside row. The 21 is the only driver that's trying a different lane, as everyone's just going to be in line, sticking together. Surprising to see everyone in line like this. You'd think that maybe you want to slot yourself in a better position. Maybe, like we said, the perfect time to start practicing certain moves and moments that you want to attack with someone else. But everyone in line, taking it easy. Still, Steven Borbell leading the charge, as Gavin Rogers in 2nd. Patrick Hernandez is going to be in 3rd. 4th is Adam Buzzio. In the first couple of laps, biggest movers is going to be Carl Pooler, as well as going to be Jared Hughes in the 98. Up 5 positions is Pooler. Up 6 is going to be Hughes. A couple of drivers really gave up some major positions, and that's going to be Jamie Plord as well as Matthew Erickson. They are losing a lot of time in the back.
I was looking at Erickson most importantly, Sam, hitting that 28 on the apron coming off a 2, and he is almost looking to be in the likes of possibly losing the draft here. So this 28 can't do that because he comes in here tonight looking to try to move himself into the points. And he's the first guy on the outside looking in here, Sam, with only 12 points to make up. Erickson can't start his night off bad here.
He cannot, and he is looking to be in a dangerous position because with everyone in line, the speeds that this front pack is building up, it is forcing drivers to really lose major time as the number 4, Matthew Porter, as well as going to be Rusty Sanchez. They have already lost the draft to this lead pack, and with Ericsson being so far back, those 3 drivers are in some major trouble as the rest of the field pulls away in line. And this is kind of shocking. Like I said, when you're racing like this, so everyone as a collective group, yes, we're going to take it easy, but you're hurting other drivers by running like this that are in the back.
That you are, you really are, and this is very interesting to see. This really, it seems like everybody trying to keep the comms here and just try to make laps because they know it's the last race of the regular season and they don't want to upset their positionings too much here. But huge loss there for Ericsson for sure in that 28 who's back in 18th. I mean, now almost 5 seconds back from this group. That is a huge loss because if we don't get a yellow, it's going to be tough to get stage points here in stage 1.
Adam Buzzio, think back to other series that we've covered for this league. Majority of these drivers are part of that Lincoln Racing League that we used to cover last year. And Adam Buzzio was notoriously known for getting 3rd place during that series. This go around in the BRB Cup Series, he has gotten 1 win, got that at Dover for himself in the middle of the season. Coming into tonight, 5 Machine having 9 top 5s, 11 top 10s out of the 12 races that this 5 Machine has ran. So very consistent is Buzzio, which we know he is going to be, as well as his two teammates, Steve Bell and Gavin Rogers. Both those drivers, they finished inside of the top 10 every race they've shown up for. So they're going to continue to try to continue on that trend as they battle their way forward as much as they are tonight. Going to be a fun race for all drivers this evening. With Buzzio having some fun with the schemes as well, and also the 55 of Nicholas Renner kind of bringing out their Talladega Nights with their schemes they're running.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see the Talladega Nights schemes here. Gotta love that. Maybe we'll do a little bit of shake and bake here to get up front, but right now everybody's still content riding.
Starting to come over the radio with trouble for drivers. The 3 that were by themselves, Rusty Sanchez and Ericsson, get into one another, and it's Sanchez that gets the worst of it. The pack of 3 somehow collect themselves in a wreck, but because there's no oncoming traffic, they are now going to be just cruising and waiting for the stage yellow to come out.
What a change of scenes here for that. And I mean, for Ericsson, who got involved in that, it doesn't like he occurred too much damage. As we're going to get a little bit of a replay here to see exactly how this all played out here. Coming down the back straightaway, I think you're going to see just a little bit of a bad push. And that's going to cause that car to go high and it come back down aggressively there and get into it. And man, what a tough break for these drivers back there who've already lost the draft. Now, if you're the likes of, Rusty Sanchez here, he's coming to pit road now. He's just going to try to
even more trouble.
Oh, no.
And Mason Hausman, as well as 3 other drivers in the lead pack, now caught up in a wreck. What is going on? As now yellow flag's going to be thrown with drivers sliding around.
Whoa.
What in the world is going on?
Well, that caught us all a little off guard there as we went to check that back of that pack out. And it all went sideways there for a moment, Sam. And I think it all started right here on the back straightaway. Here's where I'm going to replay. It looks like the 5 of Buzzio jumps out, the 55 of Renner. And then from there, it just seems like something goes wrong.
A weird wreck for these drivers as they were going through 3 and 4. And then, because there was no yellow thrown for that, looked like major trouble for the 13, who spins in front of the group to make sure he brings up the yellow as the field goes down into turns number 3. And there's going to be the move of Hausman gets into Renner. They're going to wreck at that point, forcing drivers on the inside. And then the 13, with no yellow being thrown, is just going to whip himself around and bring out the yellow flag for the field.
Oh, man. That is a wild scene. And what it looked like is the 55 of Renner went outside to follow Buzzio, and then he decided better that he wanted to jump back in line. And it looks like the 03 there was, or the 0003 was there, and Hausman and then involved in that wreck. And there's going to need to be some fast repairs used for sure.
As such a bizarre moment there again. The three drivers are by themselves, and then you have that wreck that happens. We went from just everyone in line to utter chaos in a blink of an eye, just showing what super speedway racing can bring. As Rusty Sanchez gonna have to use a fast repair and gonna be in out of pit road, but one lap down is the 34. The rest of the field gonna be topping off on fuel or getting damage repair for themselves, as Mason Hausman going to have to putter his way around. Currently blown engine for the 003 machine, as he's going to be going into pit road. The rest of the drivers in line. Bizarre moment for sure for this field. You don't expect for that moment to happen, but I mean, Zach, it's weird because we have about 3 drivers that have not raced here at all this season that are showing up here tonight, and maybe everyone else is just feeling that little bit of unknown when they come to Talladega.
Well, that seems to be Talladega for you. I mean, it's definitely the unknown, you could say, but hey, a good time to add some people in. It gives possibility for more points to be lost, and just makes the whole aspect of the heading into the playoffs even that much, or the chase actually coming up here, that much more important, because it's just going to have more drivers out there and more points available to be lost each and every week. That always, in my opinion, makes things better. So good to see some new names out there, but right now it seems like the names up front are looking to stay there. But with this caution, I wonder if this is going to change the style of racing at all, or are they going to go back to that single fileness?
Well, we are going to be going back to green flag racing here with, again, lap 25 is the lap that we're going to. So we'll see if they can come into pit row. I mean, if they're going to be thinking about going back to that single file racing, or will they go back to side by side and attempt that again? But end of lap 25 will be the end of stage 1. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. So we still have some, a couple of laps to work with here before I think a lot of these drivers are going to get in that antsy mode of we need to get up front inside of the top 10. But how long it's going to take is going to be a good question. We have 2 drivers that have officially used their fast repair. That's Mason Hausman and Rusty Sanchez, both that were caught up for Sanchez in the first initial wreck of the 3 drivers that were on their own. And then Hausman that lost his engine during the wreck that brought out our most and only caution of the day so far, as field paces, waits for the 1 to go marker. I mean, Zach, Talladega, a track that we know can bring out for some that hope that you have a chance. Maybe you've been waiting all season for the one time to win, and for some drivers, because it's the last super speedway of the season, this is their last race, they feel like we can have a chance to get into victory lane.
This is a big one circled on the calendar for a few, I think, and I think even a few maybe that were in the chase, so to say, in a good position, didn't want to see this leave from the chase, because they felt like this would be a track where they could go out and score big points over their competition, on a weekend basis, where, most normal tracks, you might be a step behind them, but this is your chance to get that one up on them. So this changes the whole aspect of that. But like you also said, a lot of people circle this as like their last opportunity to possibly go get a win this season. So this is definitely a big one when it comes to that, and I think you're going to see the aggression level. We've already seen firstly running on the bottom, and I think that's because everybody wants to be there at the end that bad and have that shot and opportunity. They're not really willing to risk it yet. So I think when we get into stage 2 and then into that final 50-lap dash to the end of this race, I think you might start to see that aggression definitely start to pick up, and a few 2 wide, 3 wide moves being made.
Can't wait for it, as we do have a report from our race control. Going to be Rev, who continues to be race control for these drivers on Tuesday. Demi and Nicholas Renner at fault, so EOL will be given to the 55. He'll start the end of the line. As up front, going to be Stephen Borbell, Patrick Hernandez. Going to be those front 2 drivers to watch out for, and points are going to be so critical. Even the regular season drivers that make the chase, they're knowing each position is so critical. Gavin Rogers, because he won the regular season, already to be starting the playoffs off with a 20-point buffer going into the chase. Second in points, going to get 15 points. Third gets 10. Fourth gets 5, and then it continues to dwindle down by 1 point until 8th place gets 1 bonus point with where they finish. Congratulations to Dustin Stalling that will take that 1 point for 8th place. But the final two spots still open on who's going to get it. Patrick Hernandez, Brandon Maddox, Matthew Erickson, and Jeremy Clapper-Newell going to be those four drivers trying to make the chase those final two spots. Steve Borbell ready for the green as we're back to action here at the Roasted Market 250 as our front two drivers roar down into turn number one.
Great start from that outside line there, and that's going to be three teammates lined up now. 1, 2, 3 for Borbell, Rogers, and Buzzio. And we've seen it at Talladega and multiple play races here at Freaking Fast, especially this next gen. When you get numbers and teammates, it is tough to beat those people.
It's extremely tough to beat, and also with the fact that we're seeing a gap already building up, our top six moving away from Brandon Maddox, Jared Hughes, and Jamie Plord that are just losing touch. Those six drivers up front really got going. There's a little bit of a mix-up in the middle of the field as Thomas Torres was having some major internet issues and has been deemed to go to the back half of the field because of those issues blinking. It's now forced the rest of the field to kind of react to the 99, and now we're seeing our top six in their own world now being almost 2 seconds ahead of Maddox and everybody else.
This is amazing to see the gap that they're pulling right now. This is impressive. And that second pack better get going, because if not, they're going to have a tough time even fighting for any such of a top six chance at points in that stage.
They're struggling right now, and the big thing that's hurting that second group, it's Richard Wolsifer on the outside. He is side drafting that whole entire group, which was forcing Jamie Plord to not be able to be on the back bumper as quickly, and it's now making this second pack break up into almost 3 separate groups because of the way that they're side drafting and hurting one another. And the 56 finally able to get in line, and they'll take off and go. For Thomas Torres, though, the 99 machine going to be officially knocked out. Lost connection to packet loss, so we're now down to just 19, knock it down to 18 drivers out on track. As they are now coming up to 10 laps to go before this stage is done. This is critical. You've got to be inside the top 10, and for Jeremy Clapper-Newell as well as Matthew Erickson, they're both outside of the top 10, needing those bonus points badly.
That they do, and man, there's not going to be a lot available to them because they could only get up to 7th right now if they want to go get those points. I mean, yes, that is 4 points. That is valuable, I think, to take home for them. But at the same time, they want to fight for more than that style points, and they're now almost 4 seconds back from that front six. It just continues to grow.
Continues to grow and build 3.1 seconds. And it's finally, for the first time, dwindling down on the gap between 6th and 7th and 8th. Currently, 6th and 7th, as drivers are trying to cycle their way into a better position. And now it's going to be Hughes bounced up the outside. He'll be losing touch and going to the back. And this is hurting that line once again as they continue to have another driver there outside. It's now just thrown it out of the window for this group to even have a chance at this moment. They really need to start hitting their marks and going forwards, and that's what we're seeing from Jamie Plord in the 38, really putting the hammer down on Maddox on that 33's back bumper.
Trying to get him going is what he's doing, and if they can just solidify here and not get too many people trying to jump out, I think they should start to run them down, because even though they're 3.5 seconds back, you are still slightly getting a little bit of a draft that far back. It's crazy to say, but still there is a slight little bit of a draft, and they have a bigger pack with more numbers. So gonna have to work hard here, because they're gonna, if they don't get it done quickly and start to get that gap closing down fast, they're gonna run out of time and the stage will be over.
The second group has to move up, and now it breaks up that second pack as Tori in the 99 rejoins the server and moves up instead of staying on the apron, which hurts that group, and all that time and momentum that they were closing in on has just been lost for a quick second. Top 3 drivers, that's 7th, 8th, and 9th, staying together as one. They're slowly trying to close in on that gap, but again, another lap where it just feels like all that momentum was lost for themselves.
You're exactly right. They were literally gaining coming off of 2, and then as they come off of 4 there and cross that line, it was already up 2 tenths slower than our leaders. So it just shows you right there that one little slip up like that can cause a problem. And now look, we even got some other drivers trying to make moves here. Looks like that's Hossman and Jeremy Clapper-Newell who are trying to make the moves here, and that right there is going to slow down this line even more.
It's interesting to see Mason Hausman out there on track was running and helping with race control for most of the season, having his first race of the season here tonight. And not going to be helping this group moving forward, nor is Clapper Newell, and they got to be careful with the 13 on that back bumper. The bump drafting I'm seeing from them was a lot of wiggling, and yes, you can bounce and push on the left bumper, but if you get on that right side in any form or motion, you're going to be hurting yourself, as they now are going to be even having more drivers on the outside. They're losing touch. Its gap's now up to 4 seconds between 6th and 7th.
It just continues to grow. Ever since they got the cars to the outside, they've just been so much slower. I mean, it's crazy to say, but you just can't let this happen to you. And right now, with all this battling going on, there's not enough time for them to run back down those leaders. Right now, they're just got the battle for those couple, those 4 positions that will be available to them for stage points in this.
And now you'll be seeing them splitting away as they side draft aggressively around one another, and it's just falling apart. Now it's down to who's going to grab 7th, and Mason Hausman's going to be there. Clapper Newell and Maddox and Jamie Ford going to be those top 10 drivers that are away, that are from 7th to 10th. But here's where our top 6 are. They've been in their own world, having fun up here, and just hoping this race continues to stay green for the next 6 more laps, soon to be 5, as it's been all Stephen Borbell up front for the 2. Gavin Rogers in 2nd, and 3rd is Adam Buzzio. I'm curious for Buzzio. Again, he's battling with Borbell for 2nd place in points. That is a 5-point difference going into the playoffs next week. If you're 2nd or 3rd in points after the regular season, Buzzio's already given, the pole has been given to Stephen Borbell, as well as a lap led. If Borbell gets the stage win and Buzzio can't advance position, that's even more points that are being costed away and solidifying Borbell going to be 2nd in points after tonight.
That would be huge for him. And like you said, that's the way it sets up for bonus points for that. And if you're Borbell, that's what you want to see. Gaining positions here in the last race. But here, look at this. The movement starting to Carl Pooler, trying to make something happen, but that just dropped Panico back behind him. And also Patrick Hernandez right here. This group's maybe backing up with just a tiny bit of a run, but it's still pretty early to be trying to do that.
Looking at drivers that are going to needed, absolutely, it's not a would be nice, but absolutely needed and a must. Matthew Erickson back in 15th, 9, almost 10 seconds off our leader, around 4 seconds off of the drivers that are in 10th. Doesn't look like Erickson's going to get any stage bonus points. This could already throw away a chance for the 28 machine for making the playoffs. Tough pill to swallow, knowing that at one moment he was in the lead group, but all this jostling back and forth has costed him to be now in our 3rd pack. That's way off even the 2nd group.
You're exactly right. And I mean, that's going to be tough for him, knowing that that window is closing ever so slightly with every stage that goes by. And right now with Brendan Maddox sitting in 8th, that's going to be a gain of points for that 33. The only problem for the 33 is he's got to worry about Jeremy Clapper Newell, who is in 7th right now, getting the top scoring stage points from that 2nd group here. And you can see the battling that's going on behind them. They are trying to race it very hard.
They're trying to race really hard, and that's the lap machine of the 99 of Thomas. That's the 2nd car in this group on the inside. The lap machine, 2 laps down, and trying to help Newell to stay up front. And Clapper Newell is loving it, but Maddox does not want to lose any more touch. Wants to build the gap instead of lose the gap, as they'll be side by side. Still 3 laps to go before the stage is done, unless a yellow flag comes out at this time, which would count as the stage.
These are some important positions right here, Sam. If you're Maddox, you want a finish ahead of these 2 that are behind you. And if he can do that, he knows he gains the gap, and it makes it that much harder for everybody to catch him at the end. And right now, Maddox in that 7th position with the help of the 38 applaud. We'll see, can Newell mount any charge here?
Coming into this race, the difference between Brandon Maddox to Matthew Erickson was 12 points, and then it was only 13 points the difference between Maddox to Jamie Clapper Newell. So Clapper Newell, the understanding every point is crucial. Just 1 point would be massive to gain, and losing a point would be even worse of a situation for the 13, as we right on board with Jamie Ford, who's having their debut race for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. The 38 machine has been probably one of the better pushers of this 2nd pack, and And him and Maddox have been perfect up front. This was the combo that actually was catching our front six before they had all the jostling that really killed the momentum of this group.
That's a tough break too, because they would have just stuck with it, other than that lap part going out and kind of jostling things up. If they would have just stuck with the pushing, everybody stayed lined up, they would have been back with our leaders now and racing them here coming down to the end, but they're not going to be in a factor because we got one lap to go for those leaders now.
That's something that's always interesting to talk about is big picture. When drivers don't have that second or third voice telling them, hey, let's calm down, let's take it easy, we're slowly catching up, and they aren't being told those numbers. Sometimes you get into your own brain of thinking, well, this group isn't moving as fast as I want, I'm going to go for a pass, and ultimately it can hurt you instead of helping you. And right now it has been working perfectly for the teammates up front. As Steven Borbell, Gavin Rogers, Adam Buzzio, those three drivers have been up front since we took the restart, and now they continue to fight forward. But Adam Buzzio wanting to continue to stay in line. This group steady, stable, not a lot of movement as they cross the line, and that should be the end of the stage for themselves. What a run for that group. And as well, the second pack having some issues. Jimmy Plord is in the grass after some contact between the 99, getting into stalling and then into Plord.
Oh man, that was a crazy race to the end there for
the
Maddox.
Second pack also, the third pack, excuse me, even got into Plord.
Yeah, it was a crazy battle there.
Bizarre moments strike again here as we have the end of the stage, 25 laps in, and we have ourselves the end of stage one. As Steven Borbell will be the big gainer for this charge, but the end of the stage for the second pack didn't go as cleanly as they thought it would go, as Steven Borbell is going to take the stage here. We're actually going to take our first commercial break of the night. When we come back, we'll talk to our stage winner of Borbell, get his thoughts on being up front, getting the pole, and having a great race for himself. You're watching the BRB Butt Kicker Series for the end of the regular season. Roasted Market 250 here at Talladega. We'll be back right after this for more Super Speedway action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the BRB Butt Kicker Series, as this is the last race of the regular season to see who's in the playoffs, who's not, and where will you get your bonus points slotted for making the playoffs for these drivers. As a couple of strategy calls were made, as Matthew Erickson staying out on track, not pitting. The rest of the field did pit, and they're going to be taking 4 tires and fuel, as Steven Borbell has been the control vehicle here tonight. But I like this call from Erickson. Didn't get any stage bonus points, staying out, leading the lap, but he's going to need a lot of help to make sure that he can get to the end of stage 2, or might be thinking we might get another caution here with some of the wrecks that we've had. We've had ourselves 1 caution flag for an in-race incident. We then had the end of the stage where the second pack got into kind of a calamity wreck as lap cars kind of influenced some of the incidences. David Hall, massive wreck for the 21. He had to go in and take a tow and use a fast repair, currently 2 laps down. But up front, it's Erickson on old tires. The rest of the field ready and set to go. As is Borbell, Pooler, Patinko, Patrick Hernandez, Rogers, and Clapper Newell going to be your top 7. As we enter into the Tri-Oval pace car into pit road, it's time for the Roosters Market 250 to get back underway. As we enter the restart zone, we're green for the BRB Butt Kicker Series.
Great start there from that 28 machine of Matthew Erickson. And I have to agree with you, Sam. I think that was an excellent call right there to stay out. I mean, he has 20 laps on his stint. I think we should be able to see him go far enough here, possibly with the caution laps we had. So, if anything, right now, good job getting some track position. And right here, we'll see how it works out. But right now, stacking up that inside lane with Pooler on his back bumper.
Not getting the push that he was hoping for, but the outside row going to be having all the momentum and speed. And Steven Borbell, 2 machine, has been strong at super speedway style tracks. The only problem is getting the wins sometimes aren't always in the cards for the 2 machine, but always going to be a threat up front as he's trying to get himself slotted in line with Gavin Rogers once again. That's been the dynamic duo that has led this race all night long so far in the first 30 laps of this race. Outside lane, still going to be seeing how Patinko in that 96 machine is going to work with, as well as having Mason Hausman Davey race for the 003. On the outside, Richard Wolsifer, and going to be seeing the 38 machine of Jamie Plord. Plord had to use a fast repair after being involved with a wreck after the stage yellow came out. The 38 looks strong, but not having that safety net's got to be tough now being up front.
That it is definitely got to be a little bit nerve-wracking not to have that fast repair, so to say, in your back pocket. But he's definitely doing a good job running right now. But Hausman and that 96 of Evan almost coming to blows there as Borbell and Rogers try to solidify this bottom. That outside line is looking pretty strong, and right now getting the first signs of some racing here tonight.
Getting the first signs of it. Also already seeing our second pack being made immediately. It's going to be Nicholas Renner, as well as the 99 of Thomas Torrey, as well as going to be Jared Hughes backing off, losing touch, as Maddox puts down the fastest lap for himself. But this lead group trying to work that outside lane, and for the first time going to see some movement maybe for the lead, as Borbell, he didn't have Gavin Rogers sticking with them. 77 bounced to the outside.
Great move from Borbell there to jump to the outside and cover off that. As we'll see now what works out here is Erickson coming through on the bottom with the push from the 71 Pooler. Great job by that inside here, as now they even have Richard Wolsifer for the teammate of Carl Pooler here, pushing this group here, looking pretty strong.
Trying to make these runs forward, and a couple of drivers in the middle of this pack not comfortable for themselves, and one of them, Adam Buzzio, was the dynamic trio with Borbell and Rogers for those final 15 laps of our first stage. The 5 is trapped, currently trying to march his way forward. It made it into the top 5, working on the outside lane and hoping to get a little bit more of a sniff and move up on the draft to be back in line with his teammates. And just like that, to talk about it, he's right there, just showing how quickly you can move through this field.
That he is. It's just showing how fast, like you said, you can move through. And that's the thing with plate tracks, especially with a smaller sized field here on this plate track. It just shows you can start right at the back, and the next thing you know, you can be right up near the front of the field. So this shows you're never really out of it. And right now, that outside line looking very strong, led by that front group. And look, the top 3 teammates, they're going to drop down, as that almost brought the 2 lines together.
Jeremy Clapper Newell kind of went into a little bit of a zone Focused a little too hard on following the 5 and got himself trapped. Was not enough space to go to the inside, moves back up and almost gets into Patrick Hernandez, to which Hernandez loses all momentum. They fall back. And in a blink of an eye, we go from everyone on top of one another to our top 4 pulling away and having almost a half a second gap lead as the side-by-side racing just gets everyone mixed up for a quick moment. Luckily, though, they still have the draft that's going to pull everyone back together with each other, but that was those moments where you kind of get too focused on one spot and following one driver. That is always a lapse of drama that can strike up as Clapper Newell once again gets thrown away into the sucker hole. He's going backwards.
And he is 3 wide there for that moment. Oh, and he's going to get slammed from the outside, and that's going to put the 13 into the wall and down into him, and a huge wreck.
Patrick Hernandez just body slamming people as he body slammed Clapper Newell. That got dirty and disgusting in a quick moment. Upset with, just a lapse of judgment, and instead decides, I'm going to take out you and a couple of other drivers with me. As the 5 of Dustin Stalling has to take a toe to pit road, and doesn't just ruin one driver, ruins a couple of drivers' races.
Yeah, that was awkward there. I think that Hernandez was looking to get in the middle lane behind maybe Maddox there, and just didn't realize the 13 was still side by side with him, who he had just passed. I mean, the 13, like I said, got body slammed. He went down into the car below him, and then from there, Stallings got hit. I mean, it was a big deal there. As even Sanchez now, again, that's the second time he's been involved in stuff tonight here as we see this on replay.
And you just see Hernandez. I mean, he just body slams him. I mean, that is as blatant as it's going to be. And, talk about short track, short tempers. Well, big tracks also have tempers that can flare up. As Patrick Hernandez not happy with the way he was being raced, I guess, with Clapper Newell, and wanted to show some signs that he was frustrated. And this seems like a little bit too early to maybe retaliate at someone, because we still have over 60 laps to go. Clapper Newell still has a fast repair. Retaliation can be thrown right on back.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, this was just so interesting. I don't know if he just lost track, or if, like you said, he's trying to, show displeasure. It's just a very awkward moment. I don't know. Maybe just lost complete sight of what was going on. But I mean, like you said, it ruined some other people's races, and heavy damage on all 3 of those cars.
And race control not happy with that one. Will be given an EOL to Patrick Hernandez on that incident, as the drivers will be having time to go into pit road if they needed to. And honestly, that helps out Matthew Erickson the most. Again, a driver that did not pit at the stage, and so he's going to be able to come into pit road, get service done, and going to be able to not be in a troublesome spot of having to oversave on a run that maybe could have kept us green all the way through.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, yeah, now kind of makes things a little bit easier, especially for someone, such as Erickson. But it looks like now he came to pit road as I say that. So looks like he's going to get service done and get back out there. But, this stage right here, I think, like it's already shown, everybody's aggression level has picked up just that much more. They started racing. They were going to see a little bit more of these accidents creep in. And this is going to open up the doors and opportunities for some of these guys possibly to point their way in.
Well, as we're under caution currently, it gives us time to maybe talk to one of the main drivers up front. Stage winner for stage number 1 was Steven Borbell, and he's been up front challenging, been a very strong driver to watch out for. Let's see if we can queue up our leader currently and stage 1 winner. Steven, it's Sam and Zach with the booth. You got us?
I got you guys.
Well, winner of stage 1 has been in control for all this race, and you got the pole to start the race off. How are you feeling out there here tonight at Talladega?
I tell you what, this Mountain Dew Baja Blast Ford Mustang's got some speed in it and got a lot of help from the team behind me. So it's been fun so far.
Definitely looked fun out there. I mean, Steven, it was a calm first stage. Looks like it started to heat up a little bit here in stage 2. Do you expect that to continue here for the trend?
I think we're going to start calming down here. I think people are getting a little hot-headed early on. It's part of plate racing, but I'd expect to see some single file here, at least till 2 to go in the stage, and then the start of next stage, we're going to probably go single file again.
Talking about teamwork here, Steven, your team have been on fire being up front right now. What is it like, being that lead driver, knowing you got two teammates behind you that you guys are trying to lead this pack?
Oh, man, being in the lead is so easy here, especially when I got someone like Gavin pushing me. He's been giving me some great pushes, and we're over here singing some Creed and just having fun with each other right now. So it's a really relaxed atmosphere going on.
Well, it seems like you guys are having a blast. It's been looking like a cruise up front currently, but we'll send you back to your team, Steven. Good luck. Hopefully we talk to you at the end of the night.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Again, that's going to be your stage 1 winner and current leader and pole winner for the night. The two machine of Steven Borbell trying to get himself into victory lane here tonight. That's the ultimate goal in trying to grab his first win of the season, which, I mean, that would be great momentum for this two machine, Zach, if he's able to get the win. But these drivers here tonight, there is a choose cone that they decide on where they're going to be placed. So it looks like the teammates all choosing the outside lane. They want to be in line with one another.
Very interesting to see that choose cone be involved, and yeah, that's a huge thing to just throw in there. And I mean, like I said, it allows the teammates all to line up to the outside now, and that's just gonna really make this a little bit more interesting when it comes to how you line up here. I mean, even some of the people who've lined up now all the way to the inside here, gaining some track position by all the teammates lined up on the outside.
As gonna be, I mean, I was curious about that because I was so confused on the last restart. I was like, well, I thought they were supposed to be lined up like this, like all the other leagues do. And then I heard over the radio of race control and admin saying, hey, it's choose cone time. And then I saw them lined up and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They are doing a choose cone. So every restart from here on out, there is going to be a choose cone on the back stretch where the drivers have to decide, are you going to be on the inside, outside? Gives the choice of where you want to be. It helps out the most with teammates because it allows them to line up perfectly in line. There really isn't that worry most weeks of, in other leagues where you're kind of hoping that the odds will line up in your favor. No, you got the choice in your hands here for the choose cone. As we are about to get back to restart here, we are underway with stage number 2. Stage 2 will conclude at the end of lap 50. Still some major bonus points to be grabbed. You lead a lap, get a bonus point. Lead the most laps, you get 1 bonus point. Win, you get 1 bonus point. But it's the stage finish. Top 10 drivers get bonus points. First gets 10, second gets 9, third gets 8, continues down that like that until you get to 10th where they get 1 bonus point. And they're all hoping to be inside of the top 10 for these drivers, and the teammates are gone on the outside.
Great start, like you said, with the teammates on the outside. They are able to pull the gap, and it's going to make things interesting down the back straightaway, though, if this group can line up behind them. It looks like Richard Wolsifer kind of left out the dry there in the 56, but if we can get a lineup as now the 56 drops in, they can get a run together here. They should have a chance here to go to the outside of this group.
Trying to get the run, the momentum. Where do you place yourself? Evan Patinko going to be needing some help from the drivers behind, or will they all just stay in line? Because we've seen drivers try to make a pass and then kind of be left on their own. If you don't have alliances or conversations or feeling the sensation of, you know what, I feel like the driver in front of me wants to make a move, I'm willing to go with them, and they bounce to the outside. Some drivers just don't have that same, motion of we want to make this move. Instead, some drivers feel all right with staying in line. It looks like these front 6 all going to be staying in place for now.
So everybody's very content, and maybe like Corbell said, it's going to calm back down here a little bit. Once I saw the 2 wide action, Sam, all the races side by side there, and kind of the heated racing that we got, I expected them to go at it, not really even waste any time at it, but it seems like everybody settled back in.
They're settling down, but there are a few drivers that are not connected with their top 10. Matthew Erickson, Patrick Hernandez, they are not instead of our top 10. They are in a spot where they are in the second pack. That's 2 seconds off. They need to get in line quickly if they want to catch up to this group in our shot. This is your top 10 drivers in line. And currently it's Brandon Maddox, Clapper Newell. They're going to be the 2 drivers of note that are currently in this lead group. And Clapper Newell's been having a great run so far. He did gain on 1 point on Maddox based off where they finished at the stage for stage number 1. But with 10 laps to go, at 13 needs to gain even more points if he wants to get into a better positioning for the end of this race. And that's what the 13's aiming for, as he's trying to side draft and move his way forward.
That he is. He's going to need some help. It looks like he'll drop in front of Mason Halsman, who is his teammate there. And Gonna put him down into the 7th place position. And if you are Clapper Newell, you want more than that. And he has more opportunity this time. Last time, 7th was the best he could do. Now he has the opportunity to try to go up there and get 10 bonus points because he's in this front group finally.
Gonna need some help to split up those top 3 if you want to get those 10 bonus points. As Stephen Borbell pretty solidified in that top position. Gonna be probably a whole group of 3 versus all if they're gonna make any dent on trying to get ahead of this 277 in the 5. And we'll see if any driver wants to try to that attempt currently, as each lap that ticks away, this lead group pulls away from those drivers that are in 11th, 12th, and 13th. As Matthew Corder going to be in that 11th place position, the 4, just getting 0 help currently. As you see the second group, they're just more so racing each other for nothing at this moment.
That they are, yeah. I mean, literally, this group is 11th on back, so no stage points to be given. As now Hernandez will take the lead of this group. As now we're going to see the 55 or Renner, who is 2 laps down, or sorry, 1 lap down. The leader of the guys a lap down, going to drop down behind Hernandez here to the bottom side.
This group is just, they're over the radio in this group, confused on what's going on. As Patrick Hernandez wants to be the lead driver, and they're just continuing to swap back and forth and over the radio. Even race control is letting everyone know, hey, let's calm down over the radio chatter, because they are getting so aggravated on not getting everyone in line, but they're wiggling so much and not able to stay solidified that even if they were in line, the amount of drivers that are in this pack, I don't think they even would catch your leaders at this moment.
I mean, no, they're 8 seconds back. There's no time available for them to catch up before that lap 50 stage. They're just going to have to ride it out. And I mean, that's the big thing they got to think about now. Big picture is, yeah, we're not going to be in it for the stage points right here, but let's not ruin our car and waste a fast repair here. Let's try to keep it green. Got to try to get to the end of the stage.
Trying to move forward as efficiently as they can. As what brought out the last yellow was Patrick Hernandez and Clapper Newell kind of getting into one another, as you could say the last lap kind of goes to Clapper Newell right now, as he's in the lead group, slowly trying to make his way forward. Open to see some movement in the lead pack as a second group. They're bump drafting, they're pushing, but they are not moving forward quick enough to catch this first group before this stage is done. Again, stage 2 we are currently running in, and end of the stage, end of lap 50, where the top 10 drivers will be given out bonus points. First gets 10, second gets 9, third gets 8 bonus points, and continues down until we get to 10th place, where they only get 1 bonus point for themselves. Outside the top 10 at the end of the stage, no bonus points are given to you. It's so critical to be up front, and these drivers that are in this second pack, they are not even attached to that group, but hey, 1 bonus point might be up for grabs, as Jamie Plord has lost touch to the lead group. So that's 1 bonus point that Patrick Hernandez, Erickson might be fighting over.
That it will be, because Plord all by himself right now, looking at his speed, he is all the way down to 181 mile an hour, while the group behind him 194. So you're looking at about a 13 mile an hour difference, and when they catch him, it's going to be quickly over for Plord here, because they're going to be coming at such a high rate here at the speed. Plord's going to have a tough time hanging on to the pack.
Plord's trying his best, trying to get it up and go, but it's hard when you have no draft help. These cars by themselves are like a parachute, and you just continue to lose speed. It's a 3-second difference, might be up to a 4-second difference by the time that this second pack catches the draft of the 38. And then it's a duel of who's going to grab the 1 bonus point for 10th place. We've already seen some drivers wreck each other, coming to just 3 to 4 bonus points that can be grabbed. What will 1 bonus point bring out for these drivers, as Hernandez moves up just to grab a little bit of that drafting help? Plord needs to go down and side draft this group, try to slow them down with a little bit of that side drafting, but he hasn't done enough of it. I think that 38 has lost too much speed. He's going to need some help, and no one's willing to get behind him. The 38 trying his best, and finally will at least hurt 1 driver, try to get enough of that draft.
Try to break that draft and get the side draft to pull that guy back to allow you to hang on, but I don't know if Plord's going to have enough speed here, but slowly just gaining the mile per hour is that 38. I think he might be able to latch on here if he can just hang on, but it's so tough as we jump up to our front group, with Borbell still leading the way here with that front teammates.
Still leading up front, as well as having Evan Patinko, first driver behind the Next Level Racing teammates that are your top three. Then behind Patinko is Carl Pooler, Rich Wolsifer from Limitless Esports. Those two drivers are officially in the playoffs for themselves. And Richard Wolsifer in the 56, I mean, I want to talk about that sixth place runner. Comes into tonight with one win this season. It was a little bit of an oddball track as they were racing at Eldora and found a dirt track win for the 56 of Richard Wolsifer. But we've seen Richard, he went for a pretty long couple of year hiatus for himself and then came back to iRacing just about a year and a half ago. And it's been great to see the development of Richard as he's been getting faster and faster. I feel like each week that he's on iRacing, and this probably is going to be one of his best runs making the chase, as he's going to be trying to hope to finish inside of the top 5 once the playoffs are done, and we'll see how far he can get once those playoffs start next week.
It would be awesome to see Richard perform well, man. So, been a big fan of Richard for a long time, and we'll see if he can put it all to fruition when the playoffs, or sorry, when that chase starts to kick off. Because now look at Maddox. He's trying to jump down in front of Newell, and man, Maddox again. He was aggressive to slam the 13 earlier in the race to get that positioning right there. Super aggressive to jump down in front of him, and I think the 13's not
Newell's
happy.
gonna wreck him. Yep, and Newell is mad, and they're going to wreck each other, and body slams continue on, as now Maddox and Newell are both going to give up their positioning and times. They're going to try to swipe at one another again to try to bring out a yellow. Race Control's trying to get over the radio to tell these guys to calm down, but Maddox is going to wreck Newell. There's no way they get through this corner without wrecking one another, and there it is. Newell taking out Maddox. There's the caution, the wreck, the drama. These drivers have been mad at one another for the past 3 races, and it culminates here for the end of stage 2.
Oh, man, and the DQs are coming through, and for Maddox, that's not going to be what he wants to see, because that's going to put him in last, and that could possibly knock him out. So.
And what's crazy is Maddox gets disqualified.
Yeah,
I thought for sure
pretty equal, if you ask me.
I mean, though, I'm confused on that disqualification. I feel like if you're going to disqualify one, you got to disqualify both.
Yeah.
But keeping Newell in this race is odd, because I feel like you look at it, Clapper Newell is the one who kind of was being more aggressive than Maddox.
It definitely was something interesting there to see. And I mean, hey, that will leave to them, but I mean, it has changed the scene of things here, Sam, for sure. And we can go back here and check out and see what exactly portrayed itself here. Is it all started there, right there? Is the first happened as the 33 tried to pull down in front of the 13 when it really probably wasn't clear, and I think the 13 was mad through 1 and 2 at that point, just going to run him over, and then I think the 33 swipes him after that coming up the track, and then from there they go side by side in the 3-1. We'll see, and I think that's where the 13 is going to turn him. And I believe actually, Newell now has been disqualified too. So I think that was the right call, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to disqualify one, you had to disqualify the other. I know Clapper Newell, again, he intentionally brought out the first caution that came out, and then he's been doing the same move that Maddox did of kind of cutting people off and side drafting and aggressively trying to take each position. The 13 was also doing that, and it comes together, and a wild scenario pops up to where now Maddox no longer going to be grabbing points and now trusting that no other driver will be passing them. But now the 13, the 33, they are both now having their fates in the hands of can Erickson just survive here tonight and finish inside of the top 8. And we could be seeing Matthew Erickson with a chance to try to steal something here at the end of the night and maybe push out Maddox from moving on into the playoffs.
Oh, man, this could change a lot of things right there. I mean, it just shows you cannot let your emotions get the most of you when you're out there on the racetrack sometimes. And frustrations definitely boiled over there, Sam, and that led to that mess. As I believe Borbell again there was our stage 2 winner again. So good job on Steven.
Congratulations to Steven, and for us, we're going to step away, see what the heck the points might look like, and also see if the drivers can calm down. Maybe we can get some clarification, and when we come back, we'll see how these drivers are going to reset. We've got over 50 laps to finish out who's winning here tonight for the Roasted Market 250 Got a little gross and disgusting there on the racetrack, but we're hoping it cleans up to the end of this thing. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. The BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series has been, well, for some of the drivers, has been certainly kicking their butt here tonight. As the Roasted Market 250 has not been the cleanest race in the world, and we find ourselves with another incident that comes out, and it looks to be a little bit of breaking the new, what you could call the new Rule 1 of Super Speedway Racing, Zach. You don't push on the right side.
Yeah, when you push on that right side of these cars, it just really wants to turn them. So we'll see here. Rooster, the restart is going to jump up to the top side. He's going to try to get the push here from the two of Doorbell and that 77. I mean, he's noticed those have been the best guys push all night. The XCR, the wiggling off the nose of the two there through the corner. Then coming off the corner, the two's just going to get to the right of that bumper, and you see it's just shifting, and boom, shifts him into the wall. And from there, I think Wolfsburg's trying to get it off the wall, and it just cranks the car hard left, takes Doorbell out with him, and just some hurt race cars there with some fast repairs needed for sure.
Yeah, the other driver there going to be the 90 of Jared Hughes. It's that black machine with a hint of white and red. Required damage goes to the 56 of Richard Wolsifer, who's going to have to use a fast repair to get back out there on track. But heavy damage for the 56. Also, report officially it is disqualified for Brandon Maddox and Jeremy Clapper Newell after intent wrecking, intent bringing out the yellow for the 13 into the 33. It's just a rough night between a couple of these drivers. And Zach, that was only in the first half of this race that all that drama spilled over. That's stage 1 and 2 done. We're now officially in the second half where it's about who's going to win this race. And after that collision, putting now Stephen Gorbell in the middle of the pack and dealing with some damage, the driver's been dominating the night. Now he's going to have to deal with going through some traffic here this evening for the first time tonight.
Now we are. I mean, Gorbell winning both stages and was leading most of the laps up to that point. He's got a lot of work to do, that's for sure, Sam, but we'll see what he's made of here for sure. I mean, he's got his two teammates still somewhat up near the front. Actually, Buzzio, is back there in 10th with him, so he does have his teammate Adam Buzzio with him to try to work together and get up there with Gavin Rogers, their other teammate, but it definitely set up to be very, very interesting when it comes down to the end here if the two can get back up there.
We still have a lot of racing here tonight. We're still expecting the field, still needing to do at least one more pit stop before this evening is over to make sure they've got enough fuel to make it to the end. They cannot make it from here to the end. And so some drivers deciding to stay out and not pit. That being Gavin Rogers, Jamie Plord, and the Ford machine of Matthews deciding to stay out on track, while everyone else from fourth on back has topped off on fuel or getting damage repair for themselves. Rusty Sanchez still in pit road getting required damage done for the 34, but there are some positions to be grabbed that can push Jeremy Clapper and Brandon Maddox even deeper in the field, which, because of Maddox being disqualified and being 18th currently, this has now opened up the window for the likes of Matthew Erickson and the 28 machine. If Erickson here this evening can finish inside of our top 8, he has a chance to bounce out that 33 machine from making the playoffs and allowing Erickson a chance and a berth into the chase.
Oof, this is putting a lot on the line, Sam. I mean, Erickson still has to go out there and get it done, but man, the door has been knocked wide open for him. And if he gets it done, then that would be such a relieving moment for him for sure. I know that it's got to be definitely on the forefront of his mind, knowing two of his competitors have took themselves out of the race due to a DQ. That is definitely something that's probably come to the forefront of Erickson's mind. Just, hey, I have to get the most points available to try to see if I can push myself in. He unfortunately didn't really get those stage points like he needed, but he's going to have the opportunity here now to try to go out here and get as many points available. He did lead a lap, so we need to remember that. Did lead a lap, got that bonus point, and that could come back to be a saving grace.
You might be wondering why there's so many drivers on the inside row. Well, after you cross the line, these drivers here for the BRB Butt Kicker Series have a choose cone, and all drivers that are on the lead lap are able to come in and decide where they want to start. If you had to come into pit road for damage repair, you had to start on the inside row. So everyone starts on the inside, 4 drivers start on the out, We'll see how Gavin Rogers, Jamie Plord are going to be having this restart go for themselves. As the 77 going to be on the outside lane, looking for some help. As Plord, who's been Mr. Pusher, has already used his fast repair, hoping to survive up front. As we enter the restart zone for the Roasted Market 250, we are back to green flag racing. As it's going to be Rogers, Hausman outside row, as well with Erickson, trying to push their way forward to be the lead trio. As Plord is hoping for some help behind him, but Hausman drops low. Rogers does not, and the 77 might be heading backwards.
That he is. Big move there from the the 03 there of Hausman, as he has Plord all over the back bumper heading down the back straightaway. As this inside line just really looking to go forward, is now finally Rogers finding some type of help from the likes of Matthew Erickson, but I think it's going to have to wait because his teammates are coming up soon.
They're actually going to be finding themselves already close to being side by side. Gavin Rogers, Adam Buzzio, and Steve Morvell going to be with one another, expecting some of these drivers maybe to bounce to the outside row, work as one. Adam Buzzio moves up to that second lane, as well as going to be seeing the 2 move up behind, and the 5 as now it's Aurora, who's going to be bouncing up to the front to challenge Mason Hausman, as Plord's been the best pusher so far of some of the drivers that haven't been up front for the majority of the night. We're going to be seeing some new runners as Evan Patinko getting a huge push from Adam Buzzio, and now that outside lane is rolling.
Evan Patinko getting, like you said, that huge shove, and here comes that outside line. Huge momentum from them, carrying a good bit more speed, 197 to 196 on Mason Hausman. So it's like Plord doing the good pushing that he's been doing for majority of the night. As you can see, really no other help for that inside line. We'll see, does Plord jump up though?
As drivers continue to just survive, Thomas Torrey going to be in the 99, back on the lead lap after being 2 laps down, disconnected earlier in the race. In the fight in the middle of the group, but the outside row is where a lot of the speed's at, but they're going to be going 3 wide for a quick moment in the middle of the pack. You don't want to be going 3 wide. That's going to be hurting your momentum. It looks like that's Nicholas Renner that's going to be dropping backwards, but up front, leading the outside row, it's Adam Buzzio for the first time. Plord goes loose, stays low, rest of the field checks up for a quick moment. The 38 will move back up into the pack, not going to be losing the full pack for himself. Quick scare. That's what this vehicle, bad bump, can get you in trouble quickly, as Adam Buzzio now leads the charge up front with his teammates.
Wow, what a change of scenes here as Buzzio and Borbell right back to the front, and just shows the dominance they've had all night here, just to be able to jump right back up. And now Patinko jumping up to the top. Looks like he'll have the help of Hausman.
Hausman willing to go forward and push, but they are going to need maybe a little bit more help if they want to make that outside lane work. As the side drafting back and forth, risking moves with the side drafting with one another. As Patrick Hernandez already has found himself being penalized with a little bit of a body slam earlier in the race with 13. Will there be any more contact with drivers as they're on the backstretch? The side drafting abilities, Zach, I mean, yes, you want to be as close as you can to the driver next to you, but all this wiggling back and forth, it certainly gets a little bit more intense when you know that in real life, you're able to wiggle back and forth, be okay, but because we're racing virtually, there's netcode you have to worry about.
That it is. Netcode is a huge thing we see here in sim racing, and that is what the risk you play every time you go and get close to the door of another driver, is you are risking some type of network problem coming up and causing a major incident. I mean, you gotta race like it's not there, but sometimes you have to race like it is there, in my opinion, almost, because you gotta weigh your risk versus reward. Do you want to risk you being involved in an incident, or do you want to be able to, go up there and try to win? It's sometimes, like I said, again, that risk versus reward thing that these drivers are gonna have to ask themselves. But it seems like everybody now trying to do a little bit less risk and get in line.
Getting in line and taking away the risk for themselves, as few drivers not going to be attached to this lead pack. Richard Wolsiford, David Hall, both going to be off the lead pack and kind of in their own world, hoping to stay on the lead lap, 10 seconds off the leader. Everyone else, lap car or on the lead lap, is in this lead group, trying to stay attached as well as they can. Gotta be careful, though. The 4, a little bit too high for too long, and might be losing the draft here if he's not careful.
Yeah, he very well could be losing that draft, and that's not what you want to do. Is that could be a huge issue for him. But right now, that 5 machine of Buzzio in the along with the 2 in the 77. They've been in control of this whole thing. My question is, Sam, is the rest of the field going to have to gang up on this group? Because that, we talked about it come down to that stage. It's going to have to be numbers against him, but at this point, we haven't really seen that be utilized yet.
No, I mean, it's going to have to be, I think, the rest of the field against them, but who's willing to be the first driver to bounce up? Do you trust the drivers around you? Because the most stable 3 have been the teammates from Next Level Racing, Next Level Motorsports of Adam Buzzio, Steve Corbell, Gavin Rogers. Everyone else have kind of been wanting to race with their teammates or race with alliances, but no one's been secure enough to make those power moves to set yourself up to, split up this top 3. You're going to have to do it. I think, if anything, what's tough is when you have these top 3 drivers in line, they have so much more control of what lane they want to, if you make a move to the outside, they all can move up as one, or have one driver stay low, 2 can move up. They have so many options of how to defend if the whole pack decides we're going to try to get by you.
I think you made a great point. They do have options. That's the thing. With 3 of them, they can defend multiple different lanes, and that could possibly be the plan. If all these drivers behind them start to jump out and make action happen, they're probably going to be the ones that try to cover off all that action and say, hey, you know what? You're going to have to find a whole different 4th lane to get around us because we're going to lead all 3 of them.
How do you want to set up for the passing action? Where do you want to go? It's going to be tough. Also, we know that these drivers still have one more pit stop to make before the night is done. Do you split this stint in half, or do you continue to race on? So many questions for us. Answers will be given later on, as we're going to be taking one of our final commercial breaks of the evening. We'll see if we need one later on. But for now, we're going to step away, going side by side. You're watching the BRB Butt Kicker Series here as the regular season comes to a close. The Roasted Market 250 at Talladega. That's some drama, but certainly as we are waiting for how this one's going to conclude. We'll be back right after this.
They're 5 wide behind the pit. Oh my, the 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. Look at me. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. I know Carter gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity driving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck it.
Oh, they wrecked! They wrecked each other! The top 2 bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they gotta be careful. Oh no! The 4 demolishes in the 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Tuesday night. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth is Zach Hall. Little bit of drama spilling up there as the 99 of Tori and Renner are getting close to one another. That's the first side-by-side racing we have seen for the past 20 laps, it feels like. Well, that side-by-side racing is actually going to be clogging up, and luckily they get in line. About to lose the draft for a quick second there, but you're watching the BRB Butt Kicker Series. It's been kind of a tough night for these drivers. There's been intent wrecking. There's been a lot of body slamming. And ultimately, we're now in a spot where we're waiting to see who's going to get the win here tonight with 30 laps to go. It is in the hands of the Next Level Motorsports teammates of Adam Buzzio, Stephen Morbell, Gavin Rogers. They've been the top three all night long. They're hoping that that's going to continue the case. These drivers still have one more pit stop before the night is done. But for us, we want to say thank you to the amazing sponsors that help out the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. First things first, thank you to Butt Kicker. If you have never heard about Butt Kicker, well, you must be new to sim racing, as they are a great service that allows you to hook up a rig to your racing rig or seat. It allows you to feel the sounds instead of just hearing the sounds. Butt Kicker, thank you for being one of the primary sponsors for the BRB Cup Series. Also, Sundance Pizza, family owned in the Wilkinsburg, Arizona area. Go check out the amazing pizza they have there at Sundance Pizza in the Wilkinsburg area in Arizona. As well as Trivia. Trivia, thank you for being partnered up with the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series and that of Idea Lease for helping out as well. Those are your primary sponsors. We want to give you a little bit of a sense of what it's like here at Talladega, so let's crank it up and get a sense of what it's like roaring around this 2.66 mile beast. Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the sights and sounds of Talladega in the Next Gen Cup car. A couple of drivers making some risky moves, as now it's going to be Dustin Stalling trying to get by Mason Hausman, as, oh boy, were they close. Been seeing that all night long of drivers having a scare, getting close to one another, and we've seen some spin outs, we've seen some body slams, And we've seen a couple of bad bumps even during that run that we had of our Crank It Up section. I mean, Zach, this has been a fun race to watch, but currently there's been a couple of drivers still trying to break rule 1 of pushing someone on the wrong quarter panel.
Yeah, the pushes are going to get tougher too, because right now everybody's single file just riding out until they feel like it's time to go. But the pushes, once they get to that point where they really start pushing, it's going to get to that point of that rule being broken a bunch. And we've already seen it once they pushed a little bit tonight. You've seen that rule broken a few times. As we pop up our weather conditions here for tonight, as you can see, it's looking pretty nice out here in Talladega, Alabama, with partly cloudy skies here. As the weather is definitely a nice 71 degrees out there with the track temp of 111 and only a 2-mile-an-hour wind. As it's static, Sam, so no changes in anything. The track temp can change with the cars out there, but that air temperature, that wind, all that directions, that's all going to stay the same. So not too much changing out there when it comes to weather.
Yeah, not a lot of changing on the weather. Not a lot of change is going to happen. It looks like from 17th, 18th, and 19th position, as looks like Rusty Sanchez deciding to continue to stay in pit road with less than 25 laps to go. Will not be able to advance in positioning is the 34, who's been just working on damage since lap 15 of this race. And for Brandon Maddox and Jamie Clapper Newell, their races are in the hands of other drivers because they both got disqualified after altercation of both drivers on track, bringing out a yellow, some self-spinning, and then also some intentional wrecking. We found ourselves with 2 drivers being disqualified here tonight and only left with a total of 14 drivers on the lead lap, but might be down to 13 because Richard Wolsifer is being caught, and he's about to be going a lap down here very shortly and is banking on a yellow flag to come out. But with everyone single file like they are now, there's no real signs that we are going to be finding ourselves with a caution anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we're going to be staying green for the foreseeable future here, Sam. So we get much farther in. Everybody is just kind of settled in. Nobody looks like they're in too much of a rush. And, you know, that's personally the smart thing to do. This is the smart thing that all drivers a lot of times should personally do when they come to somewhere like Talladega here. But we all usually lose our minds. And I'm just waiting for the lap for when the drivers start to lose their mind. Because, you know, I gotta commend for their patience, but at some point the patience is gonna have to go away, and you're gonna have to start to make passes. I'm just questioning when that begins. I'm thinking at least lap 90. These guys will be really thinking about what they need to be doing that wise, and also I'm wondering when, if anything, will we have to make a pit stop here, Sam? I think with the 80% fuel load, we're gonna have to stop at some point.
Yeah, I was expecting them to stop, but I was also been trying to watch the timing of how fast this E-Pack is going, because with how all the drivers that are in line and the way that they've been pushing and shoving earlier in the race compared to now, they seem to be not going at full bore. This group could be going a lot faster than they are currently. They're taking it easy. It looks like maybe thinking about saving fuel and trying to stretch this fuel as long as possible. But the first group that we know is going to have to come to pit road, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Morbell, Gavin Rogers, that's going to be the trio to watch out for. If they at any point show a sign of going into pit road, I think that everyone else knows, hey, this fuel is going to be very close, especially because Buzzio is the one using the most fuel. But everyone else behind, they're okay with backing off and saving fuel. They've got the draft that's helping them save even more than what they have right now.
That's very, very true. Yeah, Buzzio going to be the worst shape out front. The one thing I do have concern for is Gavin Rogers. He looks like he stayed out one time extra than these guys, so he's got actually about another 4 laps on his stint here. Same for Jamie Plord, I believe. Also, the 4 of Matthew Cordair. Both those, all those drivers pitted 31 laps ago. So they're going to have to pit a little bit earlier, but I expect to see the 5 and the 2 come with their teammate Gavin Rogers. So it just make those pit stops happen a little bit earlier due to Rogers being a little bit off sequence from his 2 teammates. And it looks like it is pitting in now, is going through the chat. I think you're going to see our top 3 definitely pit. I think you'll see a big group of followers. It is pretty much everybody.
Everybody comes into pit road, and those drivers, the next level racing, we're hoping to survive. Few beam bumps and bangs, pushing drivers off track. Now the drivers got to be careful. We got a couple of drivers side by side. If they have to pull into pit road, they could run into one another until they're in the box where the concrete is. You can phase through other drivers. Looks like everyone's going to be clean, getting into their spots and positioning. That was nerve-wracking for some, and that's going to be your first green flag pit stop, and everyone came into pit road together. That was pretty efficient by most, and going to be leaving their box. Adam Buzzio going to be the first one, Gavin Rogers, and it's going to be Patinko, third driver, out, splitting up the teammates. A few, got to be careful. We got to check those sights on black flags. Did anyone get caught speeding or held?
Excellent job by everybody there, Sam. Some are going to lose the pack. It was like 2 people will lose the pack, in my opinion here. But the rest of the group, no black flags from occurred from anybody. That was picture perfect when you had, I believe it was at least 14, 15 cars picked.
Yeah, it was massive, the amount of drivers that came in, and the major split up that we're going to be seeing from the field is those that came in with the mentality of fuel only. Some took 2 tires, a few took 4. The drivers that took 4 was Jeremy Hughes, Jamie Plord, and it looks to be also Patrick Hernandez. Those drivers are going to be in a spot where they're most likely going to lose touch to our lead pack because of their decision to take tires and waste a little bit of extra time on pit road. But up front, our top 5 are flying at the moment, trying to stay ahead of everyone from 6th on back.
That they are. They're trying to open the gap. They do not want to have any more cars than they can have in this group, because that's just less. I mean, it makes more opportunity and more chances for them to go win this race. As you see, this second group catches the front 2. We'll see where Panico goes, as it looks like he's going to have a big run here when he gets to the 77. But I think more or less he's just going to try to push them and try to keep them away from the likes of Thomas Torre and also Carl Puller back there about 3 seconds from that group, and try to make it a battle between this front group.
And Matthew Erickson is in a spot where he needs to close in quickly. Again, the bonus points that were gained from the stages, it's still in a position where the 28 needs to finish inside of the top, looks to be 6 positions. If the 28 wants to try to steal the spot away from Brandon Maddox, Maddox again getting disqualified earlier in the race between himself and Jeremy Clapper Newell after disputes, contact between both, and race control deemed that both were at fault. That's why they're going to both be disqualified, and it has really opened up the gap for the 28 for a chance to make the playoffs, but needs some help, and it's going to be hard to catch up to this top 6 drivers, become top 5. This is a very strong group of drivers that are going to be up front, and probably some of the best pushers and drivers that have been the most stable all night long.
I'd have to agree, Sam, and I'm watching the relative and the gap. It just continues to grow between the 003 and the 99. It's just that gap continues to increase, and I just don't see how these 3 cars are going to line up and get to them, especially with the loss of the 10 of Dustin Stallings. That was a huge loss off the back of them, and now they're just going to be kind of floundering in the water. And if you're Erickson, you at least got to try to get up the 6th here and then hope for maybe something to happen in that front group coming to the white flag.
Gonna need some help, maybe need a caution, as oh boy, they getting wiggly back there. Watching that of the 99, 71, 28. They're trying their best to close in the gap, but you also have to be aware, if you're gonna bump, it's got to be on the left side bumper. That right side bumper, you are going to spin the driver out. Left side's the most stable, or dead center. Those are your 2 positions that you can give a bump trap. Anything on the right side, you're spinning out the driver in front of you. It might be even getting into more trouble if you're not careful.
That it is. Yeah, you don't want to get in more trouble than that. So we'll see how the one draft works here from the cooler. As you see the 99 up the racetrack here, it's going to be a little off center to the left, and that right there going to immediately yank that 99 down. And look, I think Thomas says, you know what? I'm going to let you guys do the pushing, or the leading. Maybe I can do the better pushing here on the back of this.
And at this point, they're losing more time because of that switch up. I think, if anything, the smartest play might be just slow down immediately now. Let the group of 3 drivers that are directly behind you. That's Stalling, that's the 4 of Coral, as well as going to be Patrick Hernandez. Get more drivers in line, and then see if 6 of you can catch up to the top 5. But that is the only way that you might be able to catch up. Richard Wolsifer going to be the newest driver that was called a night for the 56, who was not able to get back on the lead lap and was banking on a caution, didn't get it. So now we're going to be down to just a few drivers out on Porsche's 15 on track currently, and only a total of 13 on the lead lap. You can see stalling. He's trying to get a little bit more of that drift of the draft. He's only about 1.1 seconds back. Now he solidifies with having the full draft. Now this group of 6, they're going to try their best, but it's still a pretty massive gap that they're trying to catch up to. A 3.6 seconds between 6th and 5th.
Yeah, pretty big gap in my opinion too, Sam. That's going to be tough to close down. So we'll see how it works here. Maybe that front group will start the battle. That's kind of got to be their hope here. And if you look at Stallings, they're closing in the gap more than really anybody in my opinion. So right now, this 10 here doing a good job, and if he can get up to that 28, up to that 71 here, as it looks like they will, this should help them try to catch up, as even that group is starting to catch just a tiny bit without him.
They're catching just a little bit, and as well, they're starting to close in even on the lead lap pack. That lead pack of 5 really have lost a lot of momentum and speed. They are running about like 50.6 second lap time. The last lap, they just went down. Carl Fuller leading that second pack. Ran 4 tenths faster than Gavin Rogers. They have a chance to close in the gap now with all being in line and working as one, but oh boy, trouble with a bad bump by 2 drivers. That will kill all the momentum and speed, and they went from a chance to close in the gap to an absolute blunder. They're going to be over 6 seconds back now by the time they're all in line and back to full momentum.
Well, I think they're going to need some type of yellow here to help them out, and unfortunately, they might be the yellow when we get down to it, but we're going to check out our front group here. Is Rogers leading the way. They've picked their speed up about a whole second from the lap before, so something major must have happened that last lap, but they've now got the speed back up. My question is going to be, how is Borbell going to get up there with his teammates, and what is Hausman and also the 96 going to do? What is their game plans? Because you know they're trying to go out there and win themselves.
I mean, for Evan Patinko, the best thing for the 96 is the fact that he is splitting up the teammates, right? It's only the top 2 are going to be the teammates, and then Borbell's in 4th. But for that 96, just having Mason Hausman there is not going to be enough help and a friend that you need to make these passes. It's going to be a tough effort they're going to be having for this group, but I think if anything, they're going to need a lot more help, maybe a lap car to get in line that can maybe be a difference maker. Right now, it looks to be just the Gavin Rogers and Adam Buzzio show, unless we see Patinko or somebody get a little bit too frisky and maybe give a bad bump, give a shove. We've already seen that tonight. And the gloves are kind of already off. Might as well see who's going to get the win, maybe rough up some feathers to get it done.
Yeah, we'll see how it is. I mean, we've already seen some roughed up feathers, so to say, here tonight. And I mean, if it...
That is a complete blink out for not just the drivers, but for us as spectators for a quick second. I believe we're back, as that was a complete server issue that just popped up for a second. We're back. 10 seconds to go. All the drivers, us as spectators, everyone just had a massive blink for about 2 seconds, and somehow we're all driving straight and watching. That was a huge scare for everyone here.
That was I thought I was going down for a second, and then luckily looks like that was everybody, and we all came back, so no issues there, and hopefully we can get through the rest of this race. But they're gonna be coming to 9 to go, but that'll definitely, you know, check your mental a little bit there, Sam, saying, oh no, what is this? I mean, now these drivers got to get their focus back on.
Yeah, and it was such a huge scare that it also looked to be influencing one of the drivers that was in the second pack, the 4, Matthews. It was right when the blink happened. It was right before pit entry, and the 4 just pulls off the track, and now has left the session. I think he thought that he was the issue, not recognizing it was a full server issue that just happened there.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of guys were thrown off with that, as they didn't want to cause the issue. Like you said, I don't think Matthew wanted to cause the issue, and that happened there for him. He tried to make sure he was not on track, cause a no yellow flag to cause a something that affects this run down to the end. So respectable, but that's unfortunate that he didn't know that.
Massively a troublesome spot, and with that blink, it now is shifted up where drivers are at. Adam Buzzio now down in 5th place. That will give Evan Patinko the best opportunity here. 9, that'll make it 8 laps to go here tonight for the Rooster Market 250. It's not been the cleanest race in the world for the first half. They've cleaned it up quite a bit on the second half, and now it's down to see who's going to have the best momentum moving forward. Gavin Rogers already clinched the regular season championship. He's going to have all the momentum going into next week in the playoffs, and the teammates are showing what it's like to be a 3-on-1 battle. They all move up, they all move together, and the teammates are in line. Zach, you could call it game over already with 8 laps to go here tonight, unless a caution flag comes out.
And it looks like Borbell going to the lead with that move too. So that's yeah, that puts it in a tricky situation. But I will say that second pack is flying here, Sam. They have caught up very quickly. Let's get that swap. We could see something here change up very soon.
They're within 1.4 seconds. If they get within a second, they're going to get a massive surge on the draft. And that swing, was it worth it to try to get the teammates in line? Or do you just say that you just threw it away? But as everyone has gotten in line, they are pulling away for the lead pack. The gap is building. It's now up to 2 seconds between 5th and 6th. It went from a chance to where did they go? All that speed is gone.
That was so awkward to see the speed just drop away there. I mean, they're only going 190 mile an hour through the center of the corner right now. I mean, I don't know. That
Gavin
was,
Rogers is shoving the world out of Stephen Borbell. That's where all the speed went. That is incredible speed. They just put down one of the fastest laps of the day with that one. Holy smokes, with that speed by Stephen Borbell, Gavin Rogers, that's where all the momentum was. But a slight slide by Patinko holds it steady. Oh boy, are they getting still frisky up there. They might be fast, but how much time was that worth it? Gavin Rogers has now used up a lot of that engine, a lot of that speed, just to put down the fastest lap and slot his teammates in line. The gap between 5th and 6th is still 2.6 seconds. They need to get a lot of help here as we're closing in on 5 laps to go here. But Gavin Rogers and Stephen Borbell just made a statement that last lap, and they're going to try to put down another statement here as Borbell gets to try and put down another flyer as they cross the line.
not as fast as the time before. I don't think they could keep that up for too long, but man, what a lap that was. I mean, they reopened it back from, it was 1.6 the time before, all the way to 3.1. So they pretty much doubled the gap that it was in. It just shows once they got hooked up and really pushing, it was game over for that second pack. They thought they had an opportunity, but if anything does happen though here with this second group, I like where Matthew Erickson is. He's leading that second pack. And if something happens, he very well could be the victor out of this.
I mean, he really could be as the field continues to try to figure out where to slot themselves. The second pack is having a lot of movement on where they're placing themselves. They're killing their time to catch up to the leaders. But each lap that ticks away, now make it 4 laps to go here tonight. Stephen Borbell, Gavin Rogers, Adam Buzzio. For Adam Buzzio and Gavin Rogers, they've already won this season. This is a show out and give the victory flowers to Stephen Borbell here this evening and for the season. As seeing this 2 machine, he is finished inside of the top 10 for every race. He's trying to go for his 10th top 5. Gavin Rogers is trying to go for his 11th top 5 here tonight. And for Borbell, he's trying to grab his first win of the season. It would be a great showing here tonight with getting the pole, winning stage 1, winning stage 2, and now trying to go for the victory here this evening.
That it would be. I mean, what a job it would be by Borbell to get that done. And I mean, actually, that would be a freaky fast Grand Slam. So, boom, that would be a huge moment in the history books from there. And I don't think even the likes of Gavin Rogers, who's won so many times in the past with the Wicked Racing League in these stages, got that. So, just shows you. Got a really good night out of Borbell here.
It's been a full team effort. I think the team could take that as a victory, but it's been Borbell up front. His best finish so far this season was 2nd at Atlanta, where Gavin Rogers got himself into victory lane. Then has finished 3rd 3 times this season. Those 3 races were at Charlotte, Dover, Rockingham, where he's seen his teammates win at those courses. So it's been when one succeeds, the rest do as well. And they're trying to finish 1, 2, 3 again this season. but they're hoping for the best at this time. Will they continue to stay clean and green? 2 laps to go here tonight. If we get a yellow flag on this lap, we go into overtime. And right now, Borbell, Rogers, they hope they stay green. The second pack, they've got a choice. They've already seen some dirty moves here tonight. Will we see another one to bring out a yellow to give them a chance to fight this evening?
We will have to see if that pack gets to shoving just a little too much. That might bring out an incident, but if you're Ericsson, you don't want to see that. As actually that pack is getting a little feisty back there, but it looks like they'll continue to sort it out as Hernandez went high. But this front group, what's going to happen is Rogers going to take an opportunity here to go for this win, or will he push his teammate Borbell? That's going to be the huge question, as he's looking high right now.
Looking high, maybe trying to get a little bit more fresh air on that engine for one last massive shove for the final lap. As the white flag is in the air, no overtime attempt was needed. Your top 5 will be in the line, and the question for Matthew Ericsson, can he stay in 6th, and will that be enough to place the 28 into the playoffs? But up front, it's Stephen Borbell, Gavin Rogers, the whole team of Next Level Motorsports in line for a 1-2-3 currently.
That they are, and what a team effort that would be for them if they can pull this off. Here comes the big run from Buzzio. Here comes the run from the 96, but not going to have the help there from the 96 at Evan to be able to get the push. I think this is going to be a done deal unless someone jumps out like Rogers, but I think he's just stuck to glued to that bumper, trying to put down the fastest time possible.
Who's willing to make the move? Buzzio goes high and Patinko goes low, but no one else will have a chance. Stephen Borbell will win and take the Freaky Fast Broadcasting Grand Slam for the Rooster Market 250. What a night for the 2 machine and for the team. Going to be taking a 1-2, and falling back to 5th was Adam Buzzio, but he had to do the grunt work to allow Stephen Borbell to win here tonight.
That he did, Sam. What a job from those guys. Great teamwork all night, and just an excellent job by Borbell to thoroughly dominate this race from qualifying all the way to the checkered flag.
I know for the race admins, they're going to want to get this race scrubbed away as quickly as possible. For Stephen Borbell, he's going to cherish this one, getting his first win of the season for the 2 machine. He's seen his teammates win. For Adam Buzzio, who won at Dover, Gavin Rogers, the most winningest driver this season. And now the 2 has his time, gets his flowers, and celebrates here to finish out the regular season. And with the teammate works, this slots the 2 of Stephen Borbell, solidifies himself in 2nd in points. That means he's going to have the second best opportunity to try to go after his teammate when the chase starts next week.
That he does. We'll see what effort he can put up to knock his teammate Rogers off that top spot. But he's going to have the best opportunity of them all here as he burns it down here at Talladega.
Enjoy this burnout for Stephen Rogers, but for us, we are going to actually step away. When we come back, it's the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 3. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. Well, the regular season comes to a conclusion with a lot of fireworks at last lap. Your teammates did everything that they needed to do to set up Stephen Borbell to place himself into victory lane and be the Roasted Market 250 winner here tonight. As we're in victory lane, we got the two machine with us. Stephen Borbell, congratulations. You are a driver that now has a Freaky Fast Broadcasting Grand Slam, got the pole, you won both stages, and in victory lane. Congratulations on this victory. How are you feeling after this run here tonight?
Thank you, guys. It feels great to finally get the monkey off the back. I haven't won a race in 2 seasons. Last win was here at Talladega, so it's good to be back in victory lane, heading into the chase. Have to thank my teammates so much for the end there. They were pushing and blocking to the end, so big shout out to them.
Definitely a good team night for you guys, man. It was very impressive to watch y'all's team work together. So congrats on the win, Steven. And also, man, Freaky Fast Grand Slam with the pole position and all the stage wins and the race wins. So congrats on that. How does that feel to come into the playoffs with some big momentum like that?
Oh, it's awesome. I tell you what, we were supposed to race Miami, like you all know, and Miami's my favorite 1.5-mile track, and I was so disappointed because we had our practice race last week before all the updates shenanigans went on, and I felt like I had a good chance to win that race. And when we decided to switch it to Talladega, I was a little bit bummed because I was like, that's anything can happen kind of thing. I really wanted to race Miami, but ended up finishing as good as I could, so thrilled.
Hey, and now you have that, you have a race in your back pocket that you can always rely on heading into the chase. Stephen, what is the confidence heading into the chase? You know that you've got 9 other competitors that you're dealing with on going for this championship. We know your teammate, probably the top dog to try to knock down a Gavin Rogers.
Definitely. I would say both of my teammates are top dogs. Adam and Gavin, they're really close there on the skill level. I mean, Gavin, we can all agree that he has a little bit more. But I wouldn't count any of us out. I'd say we're all right there battling with each other most weeks and hopefully throughout the rest of the season. But there's a good handful of guys that it's really anyone's deal. So I'm really excited. I feel confident going in, and you just got to watch, tune in, and we'll see who can do it.
Well, we're excited to see how this rest of the season is going to conclude, but congratulations on this win. Before we officially let you go, though, Stephen, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Appreciate it, guys. Just want to shout out my fiance, Addison, my family, my friends, everyone who supports me. Obviously, my teammates, Adam and Gavin. Again, thank you all so much for all your help tonight. It couldn't have done it without you guys. Shout out to Butt Kicker. Shout out to Sundance Pizza. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to y'all for running these great broadcasts for us. We really appreciate it. But everyone was asking me before the race what would have happened if I didn't win. But I guess we'll never know.
That is true. Your winner here tonight for the Rooster Market 250. Give it to the number 2 machine of Stephen Borbell. Congratulations, Stephen. Enjoy this one, and good luck in the chase.
Appreciate it, guys.
As we now going to be moving to our second place finisher, Gavin Rogers is going to be one of the drivers that really enabled Stephen Borbell to be up front in winning this race. But he's got to give the most credit to this driver, the 77 of Gavin Rogers. Gavin, what a run for yourself here tonight. Probably the best pusher of anyone. You helped Borbell put down the fastest lap of the night. How are you feeling as a teammate to help your teammate get the win here this evening?
I'm feeling great. Steven needed that win for quite a while now. We've been trying to help him out, and that was definitely the best way we could have done that. I actually never really felt that comfortable really pushing anyone. So, man, that was awesome. Wish we could have gotten the team top 3 there, but either way, team top 5 on a super speedway, and just awesome to keep the momentum up, especially before the chase next week. We're feeling great. We got the momentum going, and this is the best way to cap it off.
That really is, Gavin. Great job all night, man, working with your teammates and bringing home second here to cap off the regular season. But to talk about that chase a little bit, we could head off to Watkins Glen, man. How you feeling? You're one of the best road racers out there. How you feel about heading to Watkins Glen?
I'm excited. This got to keep that momentum going. Got to be clean and consistent. Don't think we had any enemies after tonight, which is good. Hopefully it's the same for all the team. I'm sure we're all good, I hope. But yeah, we're feeling good. We all got the momentum right now. It's really exciting to see how it's going right now, and just got to keep it going. I think Watkins Glen is a good race for really all three of us. Just got to get that teamwork, got to get the practice, and we should be good.
I mean, Gavin, obviously you're the favorite going into the chase. What other competitors are you looking at that might be someone that you're worried about that might challenge you for the crown for this first season?
Honestly, my teammates, both Adam and Steven, they're really, really good at pretty much any track. They're always up in the front. So just, I got to keep an eye out for them. I know they'll be putting their best out there, and I'll do my best to do the same. And I think we all three are going to be the biggest threats out there, which is pretty cool.
Well, we're excited to see how you're going to perform in the playoffs, Gavin. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I want to shout out all the sponsors for the league, of course, Sundance Pizza, Idealis, and Trivista. Want to shout out Nick for sponsoring the race tonight. Shout out to everyone watching, all my family, my two brothers. Want to shout out you guys for doing a great broadcast, and the admins, everyone that puts us together. We all are very connected. I'm pretty sure we've done a great job this season. Keeping this all together. I know there's been some rough this is what happens. But yeah, I think that's everything.
Well, that will be your second place finisher here tonight. The 77 of Gavin Rogers. Congratulations on your finish here tonight and being the regular season champion. Good luck in the chase starting next week.
Appreciate you guys.
As we move from ourselves in second place, we go down to third, where we have a driver that was trying to make some moves, maybe need a little bit more help. We have Evan Patinko with us. Evan, you tried your best. You almost got it done. Needed just a little bit more help. But how are you feeling coming away with third place finish?
Well, top three, I'll take it. A lot better than I was expecting tonight. Usually these type of things, I get caught up in a last lap wreck or something like that. I was battling fuel issues. That last pit stop didn't get it fully fueled up like I needed, and had to save there at the end.
That is very impressive that you had to say that there, Evan, and it was able to bring it home in the top 3 minutes. So congrats on that. Take us through that green flag pit stop, because that was wild. And a lot of the field, pretty much the whole field of that pack coming down together.
Yeah, I peeled off and I stayed to the outside. I don't know, someone locked it up, and they kind of clipped the left front, and I got a 4X out of it, so I knew I had some type of damage. So I reached out of the button box and hit the button that I needed to, and I accidentally clicked on all 4 tires. So then I had to unclick the 4-tire stop, and I just didn't get to the auto fuel before I was able to get to the pit box. So it auto fueled me, and I only had, I think, 1 extra lap.
Well, you still come away with a third place finish for yourself, Evan, and a great season so far. You're heading into the chase. What's your confidence level with the start of the chase next week?
Well, I believe we're at Watkins Glen. Road courses aren't my strong suit. So we're just going to try to survive that, I guess. Get as many stage points as I can and hopefully get a decent finish, and then we'll see where I'm at from there.
And we're hoping for the best as well. But before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
I honestly just want to shout out my teammates, Jeremy Clapper and Mason, the car owner. He was in the race tonight, did a great job helping me out there at the end and giving me the pushes. So appreciate those guys, and hopefully we can get it done next week.
Well, that will be the 96 machine of Evan Patinko coming away with third place finish here tonight. Congratulations, Evan, on a top 3 finish, and good luck in the chase starting next week.
Appreciate it, guys.
Well, from interviews, we head ourselves over to how the end of this race went down. The unofficial results certainly have been swapped around how this race was going to go down. Again, we had some disqualifications, some intent wrecks, some all very aggressive bumps all around, but it was the 2 of Stephen Borbell who could not be stopped or shut down, as he had his ringer of Gavin Rogers on that back bumper, not allowing the 2 to lose any more momentum. Third goes Evan Patinko. The 003 of Mason Hausman out on track in 4th. 5th goes to Adam Buzzio. Matthew Erickson, 6th place. We still wait for confirmation of if that was enough to place the 28 into the chase. 7th place will go to the 71 of Carl Pooler. Thomas Tori going to be in 8th. 9th goes to Patrick Hernandez. And finishing out our top 10, it's the 10 machine of Dustin Starling.
And as we look through the rest of that unofficial results, I definitely think the thing that everybody's going to look at is the drivers who finished in 17th and 18th. Their issues of their run-in tonight together is they're going to be placed in 18th and 19th here on the leaderboard due to that the DQ will take them completely out of it, and that pushes Sanchez up to 17th. But we'll have to see how that is ruled, of course, once everything is dealt with. But definitely a wild night. Some drama there between drivers right on the cut line, but we'll have to see how that shakes things out when we come back, of course, next week for Wednesday and see who is that final driver making it.
Yeah, I know a lot of drivers not going to be happy with the way that maybe this race went down. For some, this was their last opportunity to get a win for the season. Others going for a chance to make the chase. Some made it, some will not. We'll know the official who's in or out next week as the drivers get themselves prepared to start with the chase. It is going to be 5 races to see who is going to be going in for their championship in the first season of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. Those races going to be at Watkins Glen, Darlington. Talladega has been swapped now to Homestead Auto Club and finishing out at Phoenix. These next 5 races, very different dynamics that we're heading towards. But I gotta say, Zach, I mean, swapping out Homestead and Talladega, this is still an amazing 5 races that we're heading into.
Oh, it definitely is. I'm definitely going to be watching from the outside point of view with you and Trevor calling this thing, and be thoroughly interested to see who's able to go out there and pull off, this championship, because it's got some great drivers here, and it's definitely going to be close when they all kick it off next week at Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen, it's going to be Gavin Rogers' home. Can anyone try to take him or knock him out of it? Well, they'll wait and see. Again, thank you to Zach Hall for subbing in for Trevor Earhart, who was not able to show up here tonight. But if you want to see more racing action, we got you covered, as we got more coverage of next week. Next week, these drivers get ready for the playoffs. For this week, we still have a little bit more coverage to give you as the WSSR Cup Series as their cutoff race. Who's moving on from the round of 16 to the round of 12? You'll find out this Wednesday. Legacy Phoenix in the Gen 4 cars. We already saw what Legacy Phoenix looks like in the trucks this past Monday. Now we get to see what the Gen 4s can handle there. Then if you want to see what current NASCAR is like with the next gen cars at current Phoenix, well, we get that picture on Thursday night for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series. This week it's been all Phoenix. This was your little bit of a dash of something new. Get ready for going to the desert. Hopefully you got your sunscreen. It's going to be a fun one. Then next week, again, we're right back to 4 races each, 4 races a week. Can't wait for it. But for tonight, thank you so much for joining with us. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We appreciate those that continue to watch from the start to finish. And if you were not able to come back for next week, we hope to see you throughout the rest of the week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tomorrow night's going to be a good one. Who's in? Who's out? You get to find out here on the WSSR Cup Series of the next round of the playoffs. We'll see you tomorrow night for our next Freaky Fast Broadcast.